I can't keep living in a walled garden. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you've been here from the beginning, you know that I made the giant leap to Android. I switched from iPhone to Android completely. And going into this challenge, I had every intention of moving my online life over to Android, and initially I planned on giving it at least a year, not only to see if it was possible, but to see if life would be better in the world of customization and freedom from the Apple ecosystem. This video is to explain why it just didn't work out for me. As you can see, I chose the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, and at the time, this was the best choice for me. It had the titanium frame, the S Pen, and all of the goodies that Android could offer. As far as owning an Android goes, this should have been the ideal situation. This brings me to my bottom line. From my experience, iOS is just superior to Android. Let's start with my biggest complaint. CarPlay versus Android Auto. Now, this might not be a big issue for most, but I find myself driving a little bit more than I wished, and I use CarPlay and Android Auto all the time, and for some reason, I drive a Toyota BZ4X, and it just doesn't seem to like Android at all. It disconnected all the time, and wouldn't let me control the volume of my YouTube videos that I would listen to on the way to work, and this is the issue that sent me over the edge. I just couldn't take it anymore. This, along with everything else I'm going to talk about, it wasn't worth the hassle. It just didn't work for me. Now let's talk about the ecosystem. I think it's pretty well known that the Apple ecosystem is just better than the rest. It's something that they've just worked on for a long time, and being that they make the hardware and the software, everything just works the way it should. This makes me want to touch a little bit on the customization side of things. On paper, Android is infinitely more customizable than iOS. But what I've realized is that iOS doesn't need to be that customizable. It works how it should. It knows how users are going to use it, and everything just works. Everything from AirDrop to iMessage to Apple Pay, everything just works exactly how it should. And for me, everybody in my family has iPhones, and I'm tired of using Google Messages as the alternative. I can't force everybody to download a different app like WhatsApp or Signal or anything like that. And Google Messages, RCS just isn't the same as iMessage, and it's honestly kind of sad. Let's talk a little bit about FaceTime. Most of the people in my family, again, have iPhone, and when they want to video call me, everybody had to resort to Facebook Messenger. That was what I found to be the best alternative to FaceTime, and I just didn't feel right making people go out of their way for a different application just to call me. Not only that, but iMessage just seems a little bit more seamless than Facebook Messenger. Let's move on to Standby. This one's a little bit personal, so I know this won't apply to everybody, kind of similar to the CarPlay situation, but I really relied on Standby mode. Using my phone as my alarm, as most people do, there's just something about setting it up on my MagSafe charger and having that alarm clock facing. I know Android has some applications, but I don't want to have to download an application, keep the application open, when I could just pop my phone on there and it works. This kind of goes back to my comment again about the customization versus software just working. Now I'm going to mention Photos for a second. Google Photos is great. I've kind of talked about this before. It's pretty similar to iOS Photos in that you have a limited amount of storage and you can pay for more storage. And I've talked about this previously, but why I think Amazon Photos is a great go-to, because it has unlimited photo storage, and you do have to pay for video storage, but if you're somebody like me who has way more photos than videos, it's nice to have. The thing that really stood out to me is the album sharing with iOS Photos. I have so many family albums, shared albums, that I just would not be able to access with my Android. Let's move on to the cameras. And honestly, the only complaint I had about my cameras was the video. Generally speaking, it did a great job. But Android just has this weird jitter. So when I'm going to zoom into things, it would snap to the different zoom points instead of smooth transition like iPhone has. And it was just a little bit annoying for me, especially when I take so many videos of my kids, and especially things that I record for you guys. It just doesn't look right when it's so choppy, when iPhone just does so much better of a job. Let's talk a little bit about app continuity and support. The first thing I want to mention is the weather. So, using my Samsung, there was no weather app that I believed even held a flame to iOS weather. Samsung does have a weather application, but it looks good on the surface, but the moment you click on anything, it redirects you to a link. And I don't want to be using my browser as my weather app. I'd rather just be able to click on something, see the data I need, and move on. And that's something that iPhone just does seamlessly, again. But on top of that, social media apps, even app support, there are so many apps that are only offered on iOS and not on Android. This is just another reason for me to not have to, again, suffer through the year of giving Android the best chance when I can just switch back to iPhone. Lastly, I want to talk about Apple Pay. I've mentioned this previously, but I had a huge complaint about Samsung Pay. I tried both Samsung Pay and Google Pay, and I decided that Samsung Pay worked best for me on my Samsung, but there was no easy way to get to it. I couldn't get used to the navigation buttons, so I wanted the gesture, which means I couldn't have access to my Samsung wallet from the bottom of my device, which resorted me to leaving it on the lock screen, which means I have to lock my phone, swipe up, fingerprint to access the app, and then fingerprint again to open the card. On top of that, the animations just aren't as smooth too. So it was just an overall bad experience for something that I use on practically a day-to-day basis. On my iPhone, all I have to do is press my power button twice, and it's there, ready to use, no matter where I am on the phone. Now, these are just some personal things for me. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to push through this experiment. I gave it my best shot, but for me, it just did not make any sense, especially with the points that I covered. If you want to see more content from me, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment. As you can see, I went with the iPhone 17 Pro Max. I just traded it in. I still wanted the larger device. So other than that, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.